In a small village by the river, there lived two good friends named Emma and Jack. Emma was a fearless and adventurous girl, while Jack was a curious and intelligent boy who always had a thirst for knowledge. They had a great time playing on the banks of the river together, sailing in small wooden boats, and dreaming of grand adventures. One day, Emma and Jack decided to start a daring journey down the river filled with excitement and surprise. After going down for some time, they tied their boats to strong branches and began exploring the unknown. They walked through dense forests and winding hills, and their laughter echoed through the trees with the chirping of birds. But as the sun began to set and the shadows lengthened, they realized they were lost. They desperately searched for their way back to the river, but they were afraid because they couldn't see the way easily. Their little hearts throbbed with fear, and helplessness seemed to weigh on their shoulders. But as he was about to lose all hope, he tripped over a boat he had tied to a branch. And the boat was about to loose its knot and drift further and further away from the coast into the wide sea. Emma and Jack got on the boat quickly and began rowing in the direction of their home. But as the boat drifted further into the sea, it had no idea what was going to happen. The ocean was full of amazing creatures they had never seen before. The majestic whales rose out of the water, splashing their tails down with a thunderous roar. Flamboyant swarms of fish appeared and disappeared through the waves like a fascinating dance. And as we got further and further into the unknown, we encountered a group of sharks that looked very fierce. Emma and Jack were terrified. But then, a brave and adventurous fish friend approached them, and in a reassuring voice told them not to be afraid and to face it bravely. Listening to their fish friend, Emma and Jack felt new courage and strength. They stared at the sharks without flinching, and they swam past, leaving them alone in the vast wild sea, seemingly absurd. The sun was beating relentlessly on the little boat, and Emma and Jack were sweating. They were sailing for hours floating in the open sea. Sometimes, when I dipped my hands in cool seawater, I admired the beauty of sea creatures swimming under them. 7. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew and overturned the boat. Emma and Jack were thrown into the water panting. They waved their arms wildly and struggled not to drift away, but the current was too strong. The salt water poked my eyes, and I began to lose hope. Just as they were about to give up, a glimmer of hope appeared. A fish bigger than anything they had ever seen was swimming towards them at an incredible speed. He pulled the children out of the water with lightning-fast movements and carried them on the back of the fish. They hung on to the scales desperately as the fish swam toward the coast. The fish swam faster than the children thought. It avoided dangerous rocks and currents, and Emma and Jack held on to the scales as the wind passed through their faces. They were amazed by the courage and strength of the fish that saved their lives. When they arrived at the beach, the fish gently put them on the sand. Emma and Jack lay there for a while, took a breath, and prayed to God for thanks. Then suddenly a long tentacle shook threateningly and a huge octopus appeared from deep down. Emma and Jack gasped in horror as the octopus approached them. But their fish friend was not afraid. It bravely settled between children and octopuses, and fought a fierce battle with the creature. Emma and Jack watched with astonished eyes as the fish bravely fought back, avoiding the octopus attack and striking back with their sharp fins. The fight felt like forever, and the fish fought the octopus to protect the children it had become friends with. When the fish finally won, the sun went down and the sky was turning orange. The defeated octopus retreated back into the deep sea. As they continued their journey in search of a place to rest, Emma and Jack saw a dim light in the distance. Out of curiosity, they got closer and there was a hidden underwater cave. When they entered the cave, schools decorated with colorful fish and sparkling jewels welcomed them. Suddenly, the peaceful scene was interrupted by a group of naughty dolphins shooting around the cave and knocking down precious jewels. Emma and Jack tried to kick them out, but the dolphins were more and more playful. As things were going on out of control, a large, majestic whale appeared. The dolphins immediately stopped their pranks and swam quietly to greet the majestic whale. Emma and Jack were surprised to see an elegant whale communicating with dolphins with a kind of whistle. As Emma and Jack swam deeper into the cave, they came across a colorful flock of fish that shone on their bodies in the dimly lit water. Fascinated by their beauty, the children followed the fish as they twisted around the complex tunnel of the cave. After a while, they noticed that the water was getting colder and colder, and they began to feel anxious. Just then, a huge shadow appeared before them, and they froze with fear. But as the shadow got closer, they knew it was a whale and felt relieved. The whale greeted them kindly and said that it was safe within its range. Emma and Jack felt grateful for the whale's protection and continued their adventure, marveling at the wonders surrounding them. Impressed by the children's courage, the shark leader invited them to a feast with his shark friends. The children hesitated at first, but decided to accept the invitation. Knowing that sharks were not just scary, they sat around on fire and had a good time with stories and songs. One day, I was caught in a terrible storm with waves around me. Emma and Jack were scared and thought they couldn't get out alive. But then, a wise and strong whale appeared and told them to hold on to their backs. The whale safely moved them to the other side through the storm. While continuing their journey, they also encountered a group of dolphins having fun jumping and playing in the waves. The dolphins invited Emma and Jack together, and they showed the children how to jump and flip. Emma and Jack laughed and played happily with the dolphins, and enjoyed their freedom to their heart's content. As they traveled further, they met a kind and compassionate sea turtle. Sea turtles showed them how to take care of the sea and the creatures that lived in it. They learned how pollutants and plastic waste are harming the ocean, and how they can help by picking up and recycling waste. During their adventures, Emma and Jack constantly learned and grew thanks to the guidance of their fish and sea creatures friends. They overcame their fears, cleaned together, and learned to appreciate the beauty of the sea and all the creatures that lived in it. But as I continued to travel, I began to miss my family and home. But we haven't found a way back to the river yet. They asked their fish friends for help, and a wise old sea turtle came to their rescue. The turtles were guided and helped them return to the river. Emma and Jack said goodbye to their fish friends with tears in their eyes. They always remembered the lessons they learned from their fish friends and decided to visit again someday. When they returned to the river, they realized that they had grown one step further because of their amazing journey at sea. When they arrived at the river, Emma and Jack were very happy to meet their family again. Sharing their adventures and lessons learned with their families inspired others to be adventurous and open-minded. Children continued to apply lessons learned from their fish friends to their daily lives. They expected more adventures and knew they could always look back on their journey with affection and inspiration. Since that day, Emma and Jack have become known as brave and adventurous children who have gone on an incredible journey and have become wiser and stronger. I always missed my fish friends who should be grateful for teaching them valuable lessons and keeping them from forgetting their trip, and wish them a healthy life.